If you're a gym owner and you're sitting on an old list of gym leads and they're just collecting cobwebs in your CRM system, well, in this video, I'm going to share with you how one of our gym partners just this last weekend generated over $5,100 by sending a few messages to their list of leads. Hi, I'm Alec, and over the past 8 years, I've helped hundreds of different gyms scale their membership base. In the past 17 months alone, we've helped exactly 100 different gyms generate $43.6 million in revenue, and this reactivation strategy that I'm going to share with you is part of how we did this. There's 3 parts to this reactivation system. The first is how to actually come up with the offer that you're going to run. The second is how to structure the messages in order to get leads to actually reply. And the third is how to convert those conversations into actual bookings and show-ups at your gym. When I audit a lot of gyms, what I generally see is that most have quite a lot of leads that are sitting in their CRM that just haven't been messaged. These are leads that were interested at your gym at some point in time, which is why they gave you their information in the first place. What you need to realize is the reason they didn't follow through before was likely due to bad timing. People's lives change, their financial situation changes, their motivations change. Just because someone couldn't commit 3 to 6 months ago doesn't mean they won't say yes today. You just need to give them the proper incentive and ask. Before I share with you what's working today, let me tell you why most gyms mess this up. You see, they create these massive email campaigns and they blast their entire list all at once with some boring offer that nobody's really going to take you up on. This creates 2 major problems. The first is if the campaign doesn't actually work, you just burned your entire list and have to wait months before trying again. The second is if it does work, you'll get overwhelmed with the responses and you can't actually follow up properly, which wastes the entire opportunity. Our 3-day drip system fixes this problem. The system we use is completely different, and instead of blasting everyone and hoping the offer that we select works, we do 2 things completely different. We first and foremost collect data to pick which offer to run so that we can maximize the interest that people will give after sending the message. The second thing we do is we use what we call a drip campaign. This is where we only contact around 50 people 2 to 3 times per day with spacing of about 2 hours from Monday to Friday. This allows us to manage responses properly while we're also tracking response rates, booking rates, so that we can continuously improve our results. If we're not getting any replies or responses, then we can tweak the messaging before it goes out to the entire list of prospects. And this also helps us avoid any privacy policy issues. You see, with emailing and texting, if you send too many messages all at once, then you might get flagged as spam, which means your text messages don't send, your number can get banned, and the same thing can happen to your email as well. Step 1 in our 3-day drip sequence is to actually test what offers are going to work. This usually increases your bookings by about 5%. And if you just put that into perspective, if you have 1,000 leads in your CRM that are sitting there, this could equate to 50 extra bookings just by doing this one thing. Okay, so how this works is we essentially set up an offer test. And so what we're trying to figure out is what offer is going to incentivize people in the reactivation messages to actually take the actions we want, which is to book and then show up in the gym. And so what we want to create is a color block image. And so what that looks like as an example is you can see here that roughly 70% of the image is yellow and the rest of the 30% is this blue color. And the idea here is it's a psychological trick that's going to get people to stop and actually read this message. Okay, so as an example here, this is a 28-day slim down challenge for free. And so you can simply create one of these images on ChatGPT, or you can actually create one on Canva. And so you can see here that we have a bunch of different offers. And so for this client in particular, we were testing a couple different transformation challenges. We tested some 28-day offers, some 15-day offers, and we were trying to figure out of all these styles of offers, which one is getting people to actually engage the most and take the actions that we want. And so what we do is we ran this test here. We ran it for roughly 400 to 500 impressions per offer. And the best part about this style of testing is it's actually very cheap. So you can see here, it's around $4 to $3 to actually test this. And depending on your market and how competitive it is, it might actually be cheaper. Now, once you've gotten the results here, what we're looking to see is what are getting people to actually click, what are getting people to click through as well. And so I'm looking at these specific stats, the cost per click, as well as the unique click-through rate. And based on these stats, you can see here that offer number 4 had the highest click-through rate. So a 1.13% click-through rate is much better than 0.4, 0.45, 0.73, 0.23, and 0.43. And then this one here, spent $3 and got 0 clicks. And so it's very obvious that this is not a good offer. And so, of course, based on this data, we now have something that's going to suggest, hey, if we used offer 4 for a reactivation message, it's actually going to lead to more responses, more bookings, and more show ups in the gym. The second step is to create what we call our reactivation pipeline, and obviously the workflows that are going to send the messages. Now, in this example, I'm going to be showing GoHighLevel. If you're using a different CRM, the only thing that really matters is that you have a way to track how successful the reactivation actually is going. Meaning you can see how many people are replying to the messages, how many people are actually booking appointments, and then of course, how many are showing up out of those people that are booking. Okay, so I just jumped into the GoHighLevel dashboard here. And so this is one of the opportunity pipelines within HighLevel. And so whatever CRM system you're using, you're gonna wanna have something that's gonna at least track who's replying, booking, showing, etc., and as much information as you can to see the extent at which the reactivation has performed. So as an example here, when we send out the initial message, we're going to be able to see all the contacts that replied because they're going to populate in the replied section. Any of those leads that then book an appointment, they're going to move over to booked appointment. If they add a friend so that they, can come for their appointment with a friend, their friend will be added in the buddy added section. If they cancel, no show, showed for the appointment but didn't purchase a trial, if they purchased a trial, or if they became a member, we have all of this tracking and organized so that we can see the success rate of the reactivation campaign and then make any adjustments to any of the bottlenecks that we might find. Now, aside from this, the next thing is obviously setting up the workflows. So you're going to want a message structure that is set up to send out a specific message. And so for us, we like to use a 2-part sequence. And so if I head into our reactivation folder, we're going to have 2 different lists. We're going to have reactivation messages for our old leads, and we also have some custom messages for old members. And in some cases, we'll also have a sequence that's specific for any old trialers. And that way we can really customize each message to be specific to the group that we're trying to send the message to. So for old leads, which is the main one that we're going to be looking at here, we have a 3-part message. And so the first is just to reach out and say, hey, contact first name, it's location owner from location name. And so this could be, hey, this is Alec from Untap Revenue. And then about a second later, we're going to send the next message, which is just saying, hey, I wanted to reach out and mention that our blank offer is ending soon. Would you like a spot before it's gone? It's only $15. And so this offer that we're going to put in here is going to be specific to what we ran in the first step, which was based on our offer test. And so whatever offer is actually the winner in that test, we're going to throw it here in this reactivation message. Now, the message itself isn't extremely important. What is important is that the offer and the incentive that you have is solid. If you get the offer right, then you're going to have a higher success rate, you're going to have a higher response rate, and you're going to get more people into the gym. And so this is the first message that sends after the introduction message. And then depending on if they reply within 28 minutes or not, if they don't reply, they don't send a message back, we send one follow-up message that just says, if not, that's totally fine. If you could let me know yes or no, I would really appreciate it so I can offer the spot to someone else or save your spot. Now, in order to avoid people replying saying stop or opting out of your list, you don't want to send too many messages. So as you can see with this structure, we're really just sending 2 messages that are separated between about 30 minutes. The third step is now launching the reactivation and managing the responses. As mentioned previously, we do this as a drip sequence. We're not doing this as a massive blast where we're texting everybody all at once because that's going to be very difficult to manage. And we're also going to get our number spam filtered. The easiest way to set this up in HighLevel is to go into the contact window here. And what you can actually do is create a smart list. So in order to then run the drip campaign, you're going to select everybody in your smart list. So obviously in the reactivations, I don't have any contacts in here as this is an example, but essentially you'll have a list of a bunch of leads in here. You're then going to select them all. So once you select here, you're then going to click a little button that should pop up that says select all records. You're then going to click on the add to automation button, label this reactivation for leads, and then we're going to select the reactivation campaign here. So this is for old leads, and then we're going to schedule this as a drip. So send in drip mode, and then we're going to select when we want to start this. So let's say I want to start it today. We'll click confirm. Okay, so it's 10:33, so it's after this time. So I'll schedule this. Let's just say it's 10:45 a.m. that this will start. We're going to do batches of 50. We're going to repeat after every 2 hours. And then we're going to select a process start time and an end time. So we want this to start at around 11 a.m. or we can do exactly what we have here. So 10:45. And we're going to end this later on in the day at around 6 p.m. or so. Okay, and then we're gonna run this Monday to Friday. We're gonna remove Saturday and Sunday. And so what you're gonna then do now is you're gonna click add to automation, and then throughout this time period between 10:45 and 6 p.m., batches of 50 text messages within that campaign are gonna send out to those contacts every 2 hours. If you don't get through everybody on the list within the first day, it'll move to Tuesday, and it'll continue this reactivation campaign until everybody has been sent a message. Now, of course, if you don't use GoHighLevel and you use a different system, you're gonna wanna make sure that you have the ability to do some form of drip campaign where you can send these messages out in batches and not all at once. To ensure this works, you're gonna need to have somebody on standby every single time these batches of messages send out. That's because as soon as somebody replies, you wanna be able to quickly reply back to them within 1 to 2 minutes. Doing this, you're gonna see a massive increase to the number of bookings you're actually able to get by being able to quickly reply back. Now, as a full disclosure, if your list of leads have been sitting there for months on end with zero communication, you're not gonna have as much success as if you were actually warming up these leads consistently over the past 6 to 12 months. If that's the case for your list of leads, then one of the things that you should put in place immediately is to build out an email sequence that's consistently nurturing your leads. This can be done very quickly with all these AI tools nowadays, where you can build out this sequence, launch it in real time, and anytime a lead opts in, they get pushed into that email sequence. This will also ensure that you stay top of mind so that if people are ready to go to a gym at any point in time, they're thinking of you because they see your emails, they see your ads, and they occasionally get the odd text message from you as well. Every successful gym that I know does one thing in common, and it's maximizing every single opportunity. Your old leads represent thousands of dollars in potential revenue that you're leaving on the table if you're not actively reaching out to them. And once you get good at this, you can set the system up on autopilot so that anytime a lead has been sitting in your pipeline and gets stale, you can automatically add them into a reactivation every single month. If you're a gym owner right now that doesn't have the time to set all of this up yourself and you want somebody else to build and manage this for you, you can book a call below and we'll hop on a call where I can show you our multi-channel marketing system and how we can build it and implement these types of systems for your gym. I hope this is helpful. See you in the next.